Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rodha Ngozi. We'll dig into it. Parliament has set up an institute that will help build capacity and equip legislators with parliamentary knowledge. Now, this institute has been named after the Speaker of Parliament, Alitwala Rebecca Kadaga. During the launch, Kadaga said the institute will help reduce on the cost of training new entrants to Parliament. Let's take a look.
Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga Institute, that will operate within the premises of Parliament, will be a one-stop specialized resource center for training and capacity development of legislators, staff of Parliament, local councils and other legislatures within the region.
There is only one Parliament in Uganda, so you either learn from here practically, but what we thought was that we should help members to be more efficient by doing continuous training and induction. In the past, we have only been doing induction soon after, just before swearing and after swearing, and then we stop there for the 5 years. But we have found that what they learn in the first 1 month probably is not enough, and they get challenges along the way. Then in particular, the members who come in after the general election, by-elections and so on, they are totally not inducted. So we needed a facility that will continue to look out for them.
Kadaga says the institute has been created by an act of Parliament in a process that started way back in 2019 and will be financed by government.
From time we were expending resources in Kenya and other places, but I hope now that we have proved our capacity. We have supported Somalia to organize their legislature. We supported the South Sudan. We supported many other bodies. So I think our capacity really now can speak for itself.
I attend Cecilia Ogwal Barbara.
Dokolo woman member of Parliament Cecilia Ogwal has been sworn in as the first board chair of the Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga Institute. She pledged to work hard and with integrity. Ms. Ogwal says entrusting her with the responsibility is a sign that women can be great leaders.
Giving us this new institute and as a lady to prove to us that if there are people who are still doubting the leadership of women, see it from Uganda, how we have transformed the institution of the legislature from where we started to where we are now. And we hope that if we stay steadfast, definitely East Africa will look to Uganda.
The Supreme Court has set Tuesday the 9th February 2021 as date for hearing the petition by former presidential candidate Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, where he is seeking amendment of his election petition main case. Preparations are in final stages at the Supreme Court in Kololo, Kampala, where the pre-hearing is expected to take place.
Preparations by the respondents and court for the 2021 presidential petition are in advanced stages.
We were served the petition sometime last week. We had until Saturday to put in a response. We filed our answer to the petition for the first respondent, that is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on Saturday last week. And so we were notified by court that we shall have a pre-hearing session on Thursday.
The Supreme Court is set to hear the election petition, which was filed a week ago. As we speak now, all the parties have put in what is required, the documents, and the judges are studying the files to understand what it is about.
Hussein Kashiringi is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's personal lawyer and will be partnering with other NRM lawyers to defend the first respondent whose 14th January 2021 presidential victory is being challenged.
Omai started participating in petitions since 2006. He has never been more confident like he is now. He is very confident that the election was peaceful, that the election was conducted in a free and fair environment, that people freely participated and chose the leaders they wanted. It was the most peaceful election compared to what we've had previously. So he's very confident that he will win this petition.
With the experience of similar cases since 2006, Kashilingi shares his insight.
In this petition, the Honorable Kyagulanyi has decided to talk mostly about the election process. He starts his petition from consultation, from the time when he wrote to the Electoral Commission to go for consultations. So he's sort of been narrating. Narrating the entire process that he has gone through, like he's telling a story.
Although Mr. Kyagulanyi logged in his petition on 1st February 2021, on several occasions he has sought for amendment of some grounds.
Tomorrow the court scheduled it for hearing our application for leave to amend our petition, and we believe we are ready, we are set. We have not received a reply from the people that we served, but we are ready to proceed with the application, which in the first place thought was not necessary, because legally speaking we were within time to amend without leave. But now that the court has fixed it for hearing, we are ready to present our case tomorrow.
We will be opposing that amendment, and so the hearing of that application for amendment of their petition is going to happen tomorrow, Tuesday, at the Supreme Court.
They have put an application, yes, it is public knowledge, and they are seeking certain declarations, certain remedies. We wait for the court to listen to what they are saying and they decide.
As the day for hearing of the 2021 presidential petition nears, discussions into the matter are also taking center stage.
Yes, saying there is a matter in court, yes, and it has been filed by so and so, yes. We hope it will be decided well, yes, that's fine. We are not saying that people should not have in their vocabulary the word the presidential election petition, but what we are saying is sitting 5-6 people on a certain talk show, and they are analyzing the evidence that has been presented and coming up with a decision. That is what we are talking about. That one is not right.
Petition itself is a political case. It is not just a legal case, it's a political case. And so the people of Uganda would want to know what is going on. We elected, we voted in broad daylight on 14th January. Someone has gone to court to contest this. What's going on? So the processes that take place in court may not be very easily understood by people, but people will continue discussing because they want to understand.
At the Supreme Court in Kololo, Kampala, where the petition hearing will be staged, preparations are in final touches. Rodha Ngozi, UBC News, Kampala.
The Electoral Commission set today, the 8th of February, as the date for re-election of local council chairperson representatives after it cancelled the elections that happened last month due to irregularities and mistakes in candidates' names and images on the ballot papers. Today, voting has taken place in various places, with the turn-up of voters registered being low. At Muyanga Ward A in Bukasa, the NRM chairman, Yasin Omari, condemned the irregularities that surfaced in the recently concluded elections.
And this is for LC3 women cancer. So mobilization is poor, people are not many, but still, slowly people are coming to vote.
Now, as the Middle East becomes a popular and notorious destination for Ugandans in the face of a sharp increase in human trafficking, with young women being lured into exploitation by false promises of employment, the Catholic Church of Uganda has appealed to government to put in place more rehabilitation centers to handle psychosocial issues for the returnees who are often traumatized and sexually abused. There have been tremendous efforts by the international international organization for migrants to rescue some Ugandans from the Arab world, but there have been fewer efforts towards rehabilitating them and comfortably settling them in communities where they ought to have come from.
Refrain and God bless you, but know why you took our children to be with you. Be true witnesses and help us to assist in one way or another the victims. We are encouraged by your efforts to coordinate services for those rescued from ongoing exploitation, and expect that government support will be genuine, generous, and lasting. We demand for a rehabilitation process centered on the human dignity and call for reinforcement of measures protecting those who are rescued. We, the Catholic Church, walk with you in solidarity. We are formally committed to your practical assistance and advocacy on your behalf.
The former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, also president of the National Unity Platform, has for the third time cautioned NUP elected leaders in Greater Mukono district about servant leadership while preparing to take on different responsibilities. Kyagulanyi was engaging these elected leaders on the experience of the recently concluded elections at his Magere home in Wakiso district. Let's take a look.
Mukono district is among those districts which National Unity Platform overwhelmingly won nearly all elective positions, with the new faces on the Ugandan political arena. Basing on that victory, party caucusing is becoming a weekly practice. Shortly after the party caucus, NUP President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu did appeal to all elected leaders on the NUP ticket from the Greater Mukono district about values of servant leadership.
Abantu batulonze kutuulwa ekyo kye batusubiramu. Omukulembeze omu Barack Obama yagamba, era ne kano njagala nkabalekere mikwano gyange, yagamba, I am not asking you to believe in my ability to change your lives. I am asking you to believe in yours. Yagamba sibasaba kukkiririza mu busobozi bwange okukyusa embeera, wabula mbasaba okukkiririza mu busobozi bwammwe. Bannange mulina obusobozi.
Kyagulanyi challenged those in the fight for different benefits to focus on the real struggle of improving the lives of the constituents and proper representation.
Tubera comfortable. Tebabawadde bwami. Guno mujiji gwaffe ko tubatandikira okulaba ebifo bibataddemu ng'obuvunaanyizibwa. Babawadde mulimu, muli bakozi b'abantu, temuli ba boss. Temuli ba boss b'abantu. Oyo wa boda gwolaba, oyo asiika chapati gwolaba, oyo akola mu katale, oyo ye bossi wo. Ffe tuli ba servants. Era njagala obbasaba ekyo kye muba mukulembeza mu mirimu gyammwe.
The delegation was led by the Mukono Municipality Member of Parliament Betty Namboze, who pledged for the maximum cooperation among leaders in the Mukono district. Namboze shared the experience of the electoral process in the district concerning NUP victory.
Okwelesa byonna twegatte omulimu guno gugenda kutwanguyiza nnyo. Era abantu be Mukono twabagamba nti oba gwe walana munne muwalane. Naye ffe tutambulira ku biragiro bya mukulembeze waffe, baatugamba Namboze ne Bakaluwa muyite waki.
These leaders have pledged their loyalty to the party leadership and values with commitment to spread the gospel of mindset change.
Nze waliwo ekiseera we kyatuuka ne ŋŋamba ndowooza agenda kukoma wano olw'ebimutuuseeko ebingi, naye yali musajja omumalirivu ate naffe kwe twagumira ne tugamba nti naffe tulina okukola ki, tulina okumalako.
Previously, Mukono was a stronghold base of the ruling NRM until NUP overturned the tables and Mukono fell in the hands of NUP. Out of the 7 constituencies in the Mukono district, NUP grabbed 6 of them, leaving 1 to the Democratic Party. Abdul Nasser Lubama, UBC News.
Now, the Department of Extension and Innovation Studies at Makerere University's College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences has received equipment to boost agriculture extension studies, especially e-extension training. ICT equipment donated by Sasakawa Africa Association is part of the COVID-19 intervention, which deprived many students the ICT equipment donated by Sasakawa Africa Association is part of the COVID-19 intervention. Now, during the lockdown, many students were deprived of face-to-face interactions with their lecturers.
Since COVID-19 lockdown, Uganda's education sector, just like all other sectors, was greatly affected. Human resource development is likely to face challenges as education institutions are grappling with ways of imparting skills in the new normal.
When COVID came, it came with its own challenges. There was a great impact on the farming communities, reduced access to extension services, reduced labor. So everybody was scared and like the future was kind of gloom. We didn't know what was going to happen.
In lieu of this, Sasakawa Africa Association has donated IT equipment to the Department of Extension and Innovation Studies at Makerere University. These include desktop computers, cameras, laptops, printers, projectors. Dr. Roslyn Nyamutali is Sasakawa Africa Association Country Director.
Well, when we did the interviews, one of the major issues was delivering training the students at that time due to lockdown. And the whole focus now is on e-learning using the e-platforms.
Head of Department, Extension and Innovation Studies at the College of Agriculture and Environment Sciences, Makerere University, Dr. Nelson Tuyahawe says the donation is the right step in the right direction.
Thanks to Sasakawa Africa Association, not only for this equipment, but of recent they also gave us some support to improve on our curriculum. They gave us some funds which we are using to improve our modules.
Human Resource Director at Sasakawa Regional Office, Dr. Mercy Akeredolu says agriculture in Africa is faced with inadequate staff to provide extension, hence the need for her organization to invest heavily in extension education as an investment to improve food production.
That is one aspect that this program has handled for us, especially in agriculture. How can you talk of rural development when you are not achieving development objectives in your curriculum? It is not possible. So this is the scenario.
Sasakawa Africa Association has been sponsoring students of agriculture extension since 2001.
The General Court-Martial in Machinde before Lieutenant General Andrew Guti has granted bail to 13 National Unity Platform supporters who were arrested during Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu's rallies in Kalangala district. However, court has declined to grant bail to the other 37 co-accused, basing its grounds on the prosecution affidavits that if released on bail, they are likely to incite violence.
In the previous court sitting at the General Court-Martial Machindi, 49 National Unity Platform supporters led by their legal team made their prayers to court to be granted bail by presenting sureties, and claims were based on their healthy conditions. Monday morning, prosecution led by Major Ambrose Baguma, responding to their bail application before the Chairman, General Court-Martial, Lieutenant General Andrew Guti, prayed to court to decline to grant the 36 of the accused persons bail out of 49 suspects. Prosecution were presenting its objections, presented an affidavit sworn in by Detective Assistant Inspector of Police Weteka Peter from CID headquarters, who carried out investigations in the case, saying the 36 accused persons are likely to incite violence.
And he responds that in paragraph 4 that he knows that none of the applicants was tortured throughout the whole investigation process. From the time they were arrested, we are inciting violent protests and we have violent conduct towards police officers, which they are likely to continue if granted bail.
Although this was objected by defense, saying there is no proof brought to court to prove. On this, they reiterated their prayers to grant the accused bail.
So definitely he has no idea whether or not the applicants were tortured or have suffered torture.
No form of evidence whatsoever to show that any of the 49 applicants has ever been convicted of either the offense charged or any other.
However, prosecution did not object to the 13 accused persons' bail. On this, requested court to exercise its discretion on granting the accused bail. After listening to both submissions from both sides, the chairman, General Court Martial Lieutenant General Rodha Ngozi, granted 13 of the accused persons a non-cash bail of 20 million Ugandan shillings.
This court finds surety substantial for the applicants whose bail was not opposed by the counsel for the respondent. 2, that the offences are bailable by this court. The applicant should not go beyond the limits of Kampala and Wakiso district without court's permission.
Lieutenant General Rodha Ngozi, however, remanded the other 36 accused persons to Kitale and Kigo government prisons until Monday 15th February 2021, when court will pronounce itself on the prosecution's objections. However, we did speak to the accused, but what did they say? Wameni Anthony, one of the NOP lawyers, after court informed the media that it is sure that in the next session, the remaining 36 accused persons will be granted bail.
But we are hopeful that they will be released because there is no iota of truth or even quality in the evidence that has been deponed to by the police officer who claims to be investigating the matter.
Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
With that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details. You are watching News Tonight.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh, bino bye biruma abayaye. Airtel, the smartphone network. Regulate.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we are not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Shopping needs, come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Portbell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Yellow, how are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do. Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say thank you, thank you, thank you, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN Mobile Money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates, because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Tonight. Now in business news, in the campaign to get rid of plastics on the streets of Kampala and across the country, KCCA, in partnership with Coca-Cola Bottling Beverages Africa, Nice House of Plastics and Stanbic Bank have signed a memorandum of understanding to promote recycling of plastics and waste management in the country. This is to support various waste management initiatives in communities and help plastic waste collection.
Studies estimate that in Uganda, an average of 1,500 tons of plastic waste is generated daily, with only 500 tons properly managed. This indicates a collection efficiency of 30%, implying that most of the waste is not safely recycled and goes back into the environment. It's against that backdrop that Kampala Capital City Authority and partners are ready to invest in efficient collection of garbage and create awareness among the public on how plastic can be recycled.
The pillar of citizen engagement is very, very much emphasized. We want to go into the parishes, into the communities, and have conversations and forums with our citizens so that they can participate in waste management.
Plastic waste causes very many problems that KCCA will always highlight. When it is poorly disposed of, it affects even the few resources we have as a country. It gets in the way of agriculture, and ladies and gentlemen, it clogs our waterways, which affects the climate in future.
The public is also expected to benefit from this initiative through employment opportunities.
Looking beyond production of recycling the PET, using it as an input to local production of furniture and textiles. We're looking to have at least 70% of the output through this partnership used for local production through partnership in textiles, furniture, and construction.
Stanbic Bank has also pledged to support the collaboration by providing financial and advisory services to achieve sustainable waste management in the country.
And being part of the solution means each of us needs to dispose of our waste responsibly, separate our wastes. That's something we think is too muzungu for us, but we should in our homes actually separate our waste so that it's easier for the people that are actually going to do this business of collecting the waste to do so.
The project is expected to start in Kampala City and later spread to the other parts of the country. It is aimed at keeping Kampala and Greater Kampala Metropolitan green while providing sustainable plastic waste recycling. Robin Jesso, Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
And that does it for now. I do return at 10 o'clock with more details. I'm Rodha Ngozi. To stick around.
Fish farming in Uganda has been dominated by pond culture for decades. However, in the recent years, there has been a growing interest in commercial cage culture in lakes, water reservoirs and dams. The tilapia, one of the most consumed fish species globally, is increasingly being grown in these cages. With over 15 years of experience in aquaculture, Robert Osinde, the managing director, source of the Nile fish farm in Bwikwe district, has vast wealth of knowledge about Uganda's fish sector.
Now the main drive of this industry is feed. And from the time when the farm was started in 2006, from actually 2006 to 2010, it was just a pilot study to understand whether this kind of animals can grow successfully in this environment. And after confirming that the parameters like water quality, oxygen levels, temperature is favoring the growth of tilapia in a confined place, that is when the commercial rollout was done in towards the end of 2010.
Having started its operations in 2005, Sunfish Farm, a pioneer aquaculture farm in Uganda, has significantly expanded its fish production from about 400 tons per annum 10 years ago, reaching almost 2,000 tons of fish in 2020. Besides commercial fish farming, the farm also provides fish fingerlings to several fish farms across the country.
Sun, right now we are producing average of 2 million fingerlings per month. And out of 2 million we consume about 700 as a farm, and the 1.3 we sell it to other farmers. And the fish is actually, the breeding cycle takes about 21 days, and in the 21 days we put female and male together in the pond in a ratio of 3 female and 1 male. And the pond is filled with water and kept for 21 days before it is drained and the fry is harvested. When we harvest it, we grade it and put in hampers where we feed them with a fry meal that is mixed with sex reversal hormones. This hormone promotes the growth of male organs, because when tilapia fingerling hatches, at that time there is no sex organ that is developed, so you can manipulate which sex you need to have.
Increased local and regional demand of fish has led to high enthusiasm of fish rearing in Uganda. Coupled with drastic decline of capture fish stock in Uganda's water bodies, cage fishing seems to be the only way Uganda can satisfy the skyrocketing demand. Uganda's current estimated production from aquaculture is 120,000 metric tons per annum.
Fish has been there always as an income earner for the country. If we do very good fish farming, cage farming, this can even triple. Yes. Triple than what has been on the market, and we are very sure with the fish farming we can get very good dollars out of this business. And I urge the government to at least invest more in this sector, because this sector you take very little time, 10 months you have the results.
Production is not that yet much, but the market is quite big, because Uganda is leading in production. I think the 3 or 4 countries in East Africa are looking at Uganda. But these opportunities are not tapped because of the limitation in financing, limitation in availability of feed. I think basically that.
Like most commercial agricultural business ventures, aquaculture sector is also capital intensive and holds some risks. According to public and private sector players, the biggest impediment to aquaculture growth is accessibility to high quality feed and cost of purchase.
The biggest challenge aquaculture production and development is facing is inadequate resources. In most cases, we have very good plans, and these plans end up being in the book because aquaculture is not funded directly very well. It is funded through the general funding of the ministry, and there's still that tendency of having to look at fish still being there in the natural waters. Therefore, the need to really have aquaculture production supported is not being seen by many people so as to be supported.
Fish feed is the most precious input in any fish farm, and it takes almost 70% or more of the total overall production cost. Over the years, fish farmers have tried and tested both locally manufactured and imported feeds from across the globe in the quest to enhance their enterprises. Quality and consistency have played a critical role in the selection of the best fish feed supplier for Sunfish Farm. Sun is one of the biggest local consumers of the highly nutritious advanced floating fish feed from Laguna Feeds of Brazil.
Yeah, this cage, as you see, it has the feed that is floating, which is environmentally friendly, and the floating rate is 100%. At the initial stage, we're making the feed here locally. We would mingle it like you are mingling food, and try to dry, where if you come during a wet season like this, you would find everywhere covered with feed, and that wouldn't support any commercial expansion of fish production. Then later time, there was a grant that was given to Yugashik poultry breeders, and that grant included the extruder. Then they started producing extruded feed, and with their production is when Sun made a decision to start scaling up the fish production, because we were able to get some feed that was floating from them. However, along the way we realized that the quality was not giving us the best production, because the right quality of feed is supposed to give the right growth of fish, which according to our budget, the right daily average growth is supposed to be 2.5 grams. That is fish is supposed to be adding on daily basis, and the right FCR, which is about 1.5. Then the survival. So couple all these factors, we realized Yugashik was not supporting growth of aquaculture industry.
However, importation of fish feed is quite expensive, especially when purchased in bulk from abroad.
Aware that most of the farmers in Uganda are just startup farms with limited capital. So when they tie a lot of capital, that was a very big hindrance in terms of growing the sector to meet the growing demand.
The cost implications limit the small players from matching up the production capacity of the big players such as Sun and Rock Springs. A 20-foot container of 25 kilograms of fish feed from Brazil is estimated to cost a whopping $21,000, an equivalent of about 78 million shillings, to purchase and transport by sea. It can also take about 3 months for the consignment to arrive in the country.
I've been receiving several phone calls from farms that have actually failed or even failed to start. And so there is a misconception out there that fish farming is not feasible.
Availability of high-quality floating feeds is a critical requirement for the development of commercial aquaculture in Uganda. The bulking center at Namave Industrial Park in Kampala was established to address the problem of poor and low-quality fish feeds on the market by enabling all farmers, especially the small ones, to access high-quality feed of international standards at affordable rates.
Yeah, this is a 4 millimeter. However, if you have it in stock in your store and you run out of the other fish, the other feed that can be given to the small fish, you can pound it and get it in powder form. You also give it to the young ones, to the small ones. Yes. Okay, I mean improvising. You can improvise it for the young ones if you run out of stock of the other one.
Currently, Laguna fish feeds, which most farmers now prefer on account of having proven to be the most effective, is stocked at the bulking center.
They can even, carry these bags on a border in a small pickup. Previously, the big fish farmers were the ones that could afford one container, are the only ones that could bring in this fish feed. Now, the other challenge that we have sorted is the small farmers were at a disadvantage. They would actually buy the fish feed on the local market at nearly 20% more than the big fish farmers which were able to import. And so we've stabilized the prices. The big fish farms and the small fish farmer can actually access this high quality feed at the same cost. And so this is stabilizing the cost of production for any fish farmer in this country and giving them an opportunity to compete on a leveled platform.
80 to 90% of the fish we produce goes to the regional markets. Congo and Kenya are our two biggest buyers. We cannot go to bigger markets. Kinshasa, for example, over 10 million people, probably 20 million. Addis Ababa, next door, almost 5 million people. We cannot feed those markets because we don't have the volumes of fish. That is why we're encouraging production. We need more people to come into the business, increase the volumes. Congo and Kenya are taking all the fish in Uganda. We are talking about going to Europe. We are talking about going to the US, but we cannot even feed our neighbors.
This has been possible with support from government through the Microfinance Support Center, a microfinance services agency owned by government and mandated to manage microcredit funds.
We noticed that the Ugandans are not utilizing these resources, and the people involved in fishing are mainly fish hunters actually, and they cannot really optimally utilize the lake. Their output in terms of the catch, in terms of how much they can sell or export, is very, very, very low. And we realized that this problem was a result of the failure of the population to engage in commercial fish farming. And so we decided to intervene in this sector and identify the constraints. One of the main constraints we identified was that there was lack of good quality feed. And the little feed that was on the market was even highly priced.
The imported feed at Namave Bulking Center is highly subsidized. Fish farmers can access a kilogram of feed at about 3,000 shillings, down from 4,000 shillings.
The feed we have in here, which is now imported from Brazil, is the highest quality in the country, and at the same time, the lowest priced in the country. How do we achieve this? Because government came in to subsidize the prices of this feed. We intend to support 10,000 groups of fish farmers throughout the country in just 2 years. We want to be able to reach that number, and they already groups of youth interested in fish farming, and our organization has been supporting the growth and organization of several other groups in fish farming.
In Buikwe District, MSC has been working with groups involved in capture fishing.
But many of them are into wild fish catching. They go to the lake and catch fish. That's by chance. You go, you get. Sometimes you don't get. But here, we think this is a better venture. You harvest what you sowed, and you sow from a definite figure because the numbers are there. If you have 25,000 fingerlings, then you know how much you can produce. And now with the feeds we have, the expertise we have, I think this industry, with fishing industry, is going to grow and reach so many other people. We want to scale this project even away from Buikwe district. We want to go to other districts that have lakes and we introduce these ventures there.
Our biggest problem was the fish feed, and this is what the Microfinance Support Center came in to solve. So we dealt with the team in a partnership supported by the Islamic Development Bank to import quality fish feed and set up an agro-input bulking center that has supported a number of fish farmers, including agro farm.
Bridging the fish feed gap could spur rapid growth, development, and enable government achieve its target of increasing exponentially the production of fish in the coming years.
The private sector, we expect government to support. Okay, we propose government to support private sector in providing the inputs required. These inputs include fish feed, fish fingerlings, equipments and tools, so that quality inputs of this is able to increase the fish production. Then we also want to increase fish production through what we call concentrated production. That is through aqua park establishment. That's where we have one center that's able to provide for all the needed actions in the value chain.
Fish is one of the most important animal protein sources in Uganda, according to data provided by the Food and Agricultural Organization Food Balance Sheet. Fish contributed more than 30% of the country's animal protein intake in the early 2010s, which was higher than beef, mutton, or poultry.
We have fish. We have been able to. We are now. Our factories, which were closed, the fish factories, have now reopened. We had 22. By the time the president read our manifesto, only 6 were operating at 30% each. 6 factories were limping and working at 30% each. Now we have gone back, all the factories have opened, and the fish is enough for Ugandans and enough for processing. So we are going back. Cage fish farming, or cage fishing, or cage fish farming is already taking root. We are working on issues of fish feeds, which we also think that by the end of this year, we will have enough feeds for our fish.
Planex, with funding from government through the Microfinance Support Center, is bridging the quality and quantity gaps in fish production. This in addition to training farmers, an initiative that is done jointly with experts from Laguna Feeds in Brazil.
For the fish farmers, for me it is a big pleasure to attend and visit Uganda 2 or 3 times per year to support the development of the country and the natural vocation of tilapia in Uganda. The country is natural and and the agriculture sector is a big potential in Uganda. And now with Laguna and Planex, the fish farmers have totally support from us to development the new farms, new projects, and offer to quality of feed and quality of tilapia for the other countries.
A resource center equipped with a teleconferencing facility has been set up at the Barking Center in Namamve to facilitate fish sector stakeholders' interaction with trainers and experts from across the globe.
You know, most of the big fish farms in Uganda, are owned by foreign investors. Okay, these guys have information from their countries. They have researched widely, and they have the faith, and have gone in and invested in the fish farming, and they found it profitable. So with affordable feed, whereby everybody can actually access it at the same cost, and information that Planex is going to be providing, we are actually going to demystify this whole misconception, and therefore encourage as many local investors to venture into fish farming as possible.
Most of the farmed fish in Uganda is sold directly to consumers at farm gate, whereas some farmed fish is sent to marketing centers.
So the traders come, they pick the fish from here, and then they take it to their markets, and then they sell it to the retailers. Yeah, and we harvest approximately 1.5 tons per day. It's our model, because our machine grades and also helps us to sort out the fish. Now, if you talk about sizes, Busia likes between 300 grams and 500, and then Malaba can take between 250 and 500, and then Goma prefers 400 grams and above. But if you do 1 kilogram there, you have to sell locally within Uganda, because the other people don't like eating big fish. They like eating a whole fish. They don't cut into pieces. So if the fish overgrows, you're most likely going to sell it within the country.
Currently, a kilo of tilapia is sold at about $2.3, an equivalent of about 10,000 Ugandan shillings. Despite the steady increase of fish farms across the country, the local, regional and international demand of fish surpasses supply.
Much as sometimes we can sell fish at $2.3. If we take a case now where farmers are selling fish at $1.8, they are losing a lot of money. But this is because everybody is selling his own fish at the moment. But once farmers come together, which we think, which we hope Uganda Commercial Fish Farmers Association will lead, and then it becomes easier to control the market and look for bigger markets.
With just over 100,000 metric tons of fish produced annually, Uganda lacks the capacity of meeting the local, regional and international demand. Government has in the recent years enacted policies geared at enhancing investment in the sector with an objective of increasing production.
We have the Fisheries and Aquaculture Policy 2018 in place that provides for production of up to 1.7 million metric tons in the next 5 years. We also had the Aquaculture Investment Policy Framework. This one was it expired. We are trying to review it to ensure that we have those concentrated settlements, concentrated production centers of aqua parks in place. So you can imagine this. To produce 1.7 metric tons, we will need up to 5.1 or around 5 million metric tons of feed to produce that quantity. So the question is, where are we getting this feed from? That means also Right now we are importing, but we have not been able to meet the demands. So we still have that challenge. If we are to get that production of fish, we need that quantity of feed in place.
It is also planning and willing to allocate more resources for research in order to support local manufacturing of quality fish feeds.
The sector has been able now to produce all the raw materials that are required in the feeds industry. And what we are discussing these days, is to support the private sector to get the feed industry, the feeds industries in place to fill the gaps, those gaps that we have now in the feeds supply. But of course, that one will be again bulking from within the country at some stage. So we have to have remedies to cater for the problems that we are facing today. But the future is brighter because all the raw materials for making feeds or for producing the best quality feeds are available here, so we just need to get the technologies, and we are prepared for that.
Government's plan is to increase fish production to over 1.7 million metric tons by 2025. The availability of high-quality fish feed at an affordable cost and in surplus quantities will play a critical role in the achievement of this ambitious target.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go.